So I'm going to do a couple videos like this where I just answer a generic question that I've gotten in the past. I actually have a folder full of these and just haven't gotten around to it, but since it's a new year, same idiot streamer, YouTuber, content creator, whatever you want to call me, I'm going to knock these out. I apologize for any background noise. I think roommates are watching a movie, but I'm not going to let that stop me from reading this out. So this message says, Cammy, I need some help finding teammates to do comp with. I've always been stuck at 600 to 1300 glory point, and I keep getting rejected by clanmates because most of them have not forgotten and can't be asked doing comp with me since I don't have Luna. Same thing on LFG as well. I've been DMing people who I think I pair well with in quick play, but none of them are interested in comp. And I presume that I was sent this to do a video response to give you more ideas on how to build a team. So starting off, let's talk about the background gameplay. It's nothing special except that I'm on a pickup team, and I'm going to tell you how I met every individual player. Let's start with my clanmate Edgewalker. Back in Destiny 1 during an Iron Banner, I believe he dropped a we ran out of medals or an unbroken or something like that, and I noticed that, and so we exchanged messages, teamed up, and it's been good chemistry ever since as far as a teammate goes. Edgewalker has like this sixth sense when it comes to sniping. He just always seems to pull off the most consistent sniping I see in Destiny. The next player I'm going to talk about is Potato, who I met from early Destiny 2 scrims and, high-level gameplay like trials, competitive, whatever you want to call it, and through mutual friends. And so we've always been, in the neighborhood of each other, but we don't play as often as we should. Potato, in my opinion, is one of the strongest players in Destiny 2. Definitely one of the most intelligent, I would argue. If I had to give a more solidified reason for why I think this, is because he has really strong and quick on-the-fly thinking. So during a match, he can split second come up with the most optimal decision and just immediately act on it. And keep the team glued together to also act on it. All the foundations of a fantastic player. Now that I've talked a little about Edgewalker and Potato, let's talk about the final team member, Hollow. I met Hollow through a very normal game of quick play, but something was off. Every gunfight I got in with him, he shit on me. Absolutely just dump trucked me with absolute precision. But for most people, if you get outgunned, you maybe brush it off the first time and are just like, oh, he got lucky. But if it just keeps happening and keeps happening, then you think something's up. You're like, this guy doesn't miss. Do I suck? And you start reevaluating your entire life. Hollow, short and sweet, is that kind of raw aimer. On my best day is Hollow's normal day. He's just super, super consistent, raw, perfect accuracy. It is inspiring, which is why I wanted to play with him more. See if I could pick up on maybe some of his habits. So for all the players I mentioned, Edgewalker, Potato, and Hollow, there are things about them that I admire, look up to, and want to learn from. So as a result, I love pickup teams for that reason, though I don't love playing pickup teams forever. My permanent teammates, Drewski and Sides, are amazing. Our team chemistry is where I feel at home most. Every player I mentioned so far, and even the enemies in this particular game, are all better players than me, and as a result, they have more options for their permanent team. It's just not a realistic ask for me to think that this team would be permanent. It's not. They all have better options. But in this kind of situation, I don't really need to take any offense to that. It's not a pure skill-based decision. It's sometimes time commitment or just team chemistry. You can't have too many chefs in the kitchen. Which brings me to the point of the video. If you want a permanent team, here's what you need to start working on. First, establish a schedule. These are the hours you can play. Maybe you're a weekend-only player. Maybe you can only play for a couple hours each weeknight. Let this be known. It doesn't matter if you find the best player in Destiny if they can't play with you. The next thing you want to do is identify your strengths and your weaknesses, and put together a plan that can either strengthen your strengths, mitigate your weaknesses, or add new tools to your tool belt. I know that sounds vague, but watch a video of yourself playing. Watch some gameplay. It will tell all and reveal all. What in tarnation? My southern drawl tried to slip out right there. I apologize. The biggest turning point for me as a potential teammate was deciding on whether or not I wanted to focus on improving as a Slayer or improving as a support player. Now, you definitely don't have to define yourself with such set in stone roles. Destiny's a very flexible game. Sometimes you need to be a Slayer, sometimes you need to be a support. But for the majority of the time, I feel that I fall in that support category. How do I know that I fall in that support category? Well, there's a consistent trend that Slayer-heavy players want to play with me. Why do they want to play with me? Because I let them shine. How do I let them shine? Because I took it upon myself to learn map callouts, learn efficient communication, use a weapon and loadout set that makes everybody weak. My Fighting Lion's sort of like a laser designator. I don't have the kind of ego where I'm afraid to fail if I'm the first person into a room. If my Slayer teammate tells me to push in, there's no second guessing it. You just do it. You go into that room, you put some chip damage in, and you trust them to do their job and shit on the entire enemy team. And even if I end up with like a 0.8 KD in an assist-bound game, I know that I'm doing my job. However, more relevant to this video, I am talking about pickup teams. So I don't always get to be a support player. Sometimes my team's best chance of winning is when I act as a Slayer, and then I change my loadout and playstyle to reflect that. So while I recommend finding a preference, that doesn't mean ignore the other. Definitely work on being a well-rounded player. So if I had to give generic advice on how to improve as a support player, play quick play, pick one blueberry, and play Protect the President. Now, how to improve as a Slayer, play quick play and throw yourself into stupid situations and shoot yourself out. If you're finding success often, you're improving. Next, the website crucibleradio.com has a section of the website where they have all the Crucible maps with relevant callouts, so learn them like the back of your hand. Now, some of you might be thinking at this point, Cammy, that's a lot of work just to get Not Forgotten or Luna's Howl. But if you're also the kind of person who complains about the lack of endgame, I don't want to hear it. There needs to be a perspective shift, an entire different way of looking at things, and this is exactly what I mean. Think of the process of team building. You need to find fun in this aspect and not just the reward of Luna's Howl or Not Forgotten. Think about it. If learning all the callouts on a map gave you that same dopamine rush in your head, that same good feeling as getting a perfect god roll weapon, you would be a damn good Crucible player, right? Well, that's sort of how it feels to me when I find some cheeky new snipe angle, when I learned that I could put the Titan barricade through the wall and tag somebody corner camping with the shotgun and then splash damage them with Fighting Lion. That is a fucking adrenaline rush, and I love it. I love it more than seeing a Not Forgotten pop up in my inventory. And I'm sure if you take what I'm talking about in this video and try to apply it to yourself, that you might find that magic too. That secret endgame, for lack of a better word. Now you might be typing in the comment section that I'm dodging the point of this video, but honestly, it's just a very blunt answer that needed that background knowledge to not sound so pretentious, which is, if you want better teammates, you gotta be a better player.